This is a story right here.
Oh, is this episode number 420? We have that Dr. Dank. Should we have been drinking the Dr. Dank?
That would have been good.
Beer for 420 or 420?
Well, we do have CBD. We could take that.
I do. Yeah, I definitely want to take some of that.
All right, here you go. Yeah, that Dr. Dank would have been sick.
I mean, I can go get them.
I'm already...
Are you only drinking one beer?
Balls deep.
This episode is sponsored by Jupiter CBD. Use code LLAMA10 for 10% off.
And we're still doing the thing, right? Sending them a bottle.
I think we got to come up with a new promotion.
But anyone that has already joined and, did the however month, the year, don't worry, we'll still get that.
Yeah.
But I think we kind of overshot it because now I think we're going to be losing money if we keep doing it or something like that.
I mean, the hope was that people would really like the CBD, which it is amazing. It's it's minty. It's so pretty. Certified organic, USDA.
All right, this is going to be a crazy episode. We're about to go to Google Earth. We just we're waiting on everyone to kind of get on here, but now we're ready and we're ready to rock. So every Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Supremos, I will do a live stream episode fully researched, brought to you by me, 420. So have you ever been high? You've never been high?
No.
I will tell you, I've been high quite a bit, starting in high school, carrying over to the time in war when we were living in a pot field. I cannot, were
you high while you were in combat?
Yeah. I got great stories about that. I consider myself...
You've never shared this with me before.
I consider myself a pretty good shot.
Yeah. They call you the sniper.
But I can't shoot worth shit when I'm stoned.
I mean, I would imagine so, that doesn't surprise me.
Plus, I'm giving away my position because I'm all giggly and shit. I'm like, he's shooting at me. No, we were high quite a bit in these firefights, and then I don't know. I mean, we would fight these guys for 15 hours a day, just back and forth. So eventually, it's not. You just whatever, bullets coming in, just kind of whatever, man.
That is a crazy thing to be desensitized to.
Yeah, I guess. But every day for about 6 months until the winter, because in the winter they all go back home. It's too cold.
It's fighting season.
But yeah, that's what they call it, fighting season.
Wow, that's pretty fucking crazy.
So yeah, I miss it.
No. I do
miss it. All right, tonight we are going to... kind of crazy, now that you mention it. It's 420. This is episode 420. What do you think about that?
I think I want to try the Dr. Dank, even though I'm not done with my other beer yet.
Yeah, try it. I'm pulling up Google Earth right now.
Dr. Dank's delectable botanicals are in the dankest of flavors that expand the mind, body, and palate. This hybrid strain of delightful dankness delivers an elevated experience. Whoever wrote that's really good at their job.
All right, it's kind of fitting that we're going...
This one's the Dr. Dank Daily Haze. Too.
Dr. Dank Daily Haze. We're actually going to Denver, Colorado.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
It's crazy.
That makes sense why you picked this area.
No, you think that I did this on purpose? You're the one that just told me it was 420. How do you know it's 420?
Because you posted True Crime Sode number 420.
Oh, I did.
I mean, are we going to do another episode on 420? Wait, what date does 420 actually fall on?
Hitler's birthday? No. Is that really Hitler's birthday? I'll put all these photos on talkmurder.com and you guys can see all the photos. Oh, the house is torn down. Look at that shit. Well, that's something.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't even know the story yet, and I'm just going to say makes sense.
Damn. I mean,
when in doubt, tear the house down.
I know, man, but...
Do you think they give it a different number too? Like when they build, so now it's an empty lot, they're going to rebuild a house in the same location. Give it a different number? I would guess.
I don't see why they tore it down though. I mean...
Was a murder there? If you answer yes, the answer is tear it the fuck down.
Yeah, but all right. So if you're the buyer, I think it's your decision whether to tear it down or not. Because people die in homes all the time. You don't tear them down. But I mean, unless there's bodies under the crawl space, then you tear it down.
Yeah.
Like, that's just common decency. But if like one person dies in a house, like, I don't think the government's coming in and being like, okay, we got to tear this down. I think it's the buyer who's like, I don't want any ghosts or I don't want any bad juju. Why else would they tear it down? I don't know. Well, you tell me later if they should tear it down.
Okay.
Tear it down. We are at 212 South St. Paul Street, Denver, Colorado. Martin says he's high right now. No. 6 years ago. Nice. We can't hit it because we're in South Carolina. And if you smoke weed here, you'll just go to hell.
You bypass jail and go directly to jail.
In the Bible Belt, you don't go to jail, you go to hell. And we don't call it weed here. We call it dope. Or the parents call it dope.
Satan's herbs. It's called.
Are just drugs. Oh, is he on drugs? You mean, does he smoke a little weed? Yeah, dope, man. That's growing up in the Bible Belt, dude. Literally. Yeah, it's been, I don't know how freaking long since I smoked. I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes. Just kidding.
I think it's been since you've met me, at least.
No, I was smoking when I met you. Yeah, just before I was living here. Getting high.
Which was also like very quickly. So
all right,
we knew each other for like 4 months before we moved in.
All right, let's do this, man. Or woman. Tonight, we're going to April 14th, 2014. It is a Monday, and we're in Denver, Colorado. And it is episode 420. Is that a quinkydink? I don't know. April 14th, 2014, Monday evening, 9:32 p.m., 2112 South Street, Paul Street. Police respond to that house location that is now torn down. A 911 call comes in, and there's a woman. She's frantic.
Honestly, whenever you say frantic woman 911 call, I think of the chimp episode and that 911 call.
Jesus Christ.
She kill him! Just kill him! Just kill him! He's ripping her face off!
Yeah, that's the line.
He's eating it!
I was like, good Lord. Just describe everything like it's a fucking horror movie.
He's eating her face off! Oh my God!
Yeah, so that's what I think of when you say frantic woman 911 call.
Police respond to the scene, 911 call. Now, this call lasts 13 minutes, and the dispatcher actually gets fired for letting this call last so long, because 13 minutes before police arrive is, as you'll see, horrible. But she didn't understand the severity of the situation at the time. She thought that it was maybe just a domestic issue going on.
Interesting.
So that means the police didn't
go into the situation knowing what they were walking into.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a problem.
Or
like prioritize this over something else that was on the docket or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
The 911 call comes in. It's a woman. She's frantic. She's yelling on the phone. She says her husband's acting really strange. It's really weird, strange, scaring their kids. So you have a husband and wife who live here, and you have 3 small kids, all under the age of 13. The wife is saying that her husband's acting really strange, and that, quote, he's talking about the end of the world, and he had asked her to shoot him, to kill him. He wanted her to kill him. And he's screaming and yelling, and he's just scaring the kids. Remember, they got these small kids, and they're kind of cowering. And, Mommy, what's going on with Daddy? It's very frantic. Daddy's acting strange. The female caller says that the husband is hallucinating and scaring their 3 small children. Now, police arrive at the scene just 2 minutes too late. Like I said, this was a 13-minute phone call. And in the call, she is frantically screaming. And it doesn't start out like that. It only ramps up when the husband goes to the gun safe. That's when it starts ramping up. And that's when the dispatcher starts getting frantic too and trying to get the cops there quick. But unfortunately, they were not able to get there on time. So if they had just pulled in 2 minutes earlier, like 120 seconds earlier, this situation would have never been heard of. But as the officers get closer, the dispatcher is communicating with them and saying that this man has a gun. This husband, this father of three, has already been to the gun safe where the family keeps their 9mm, and that is for family protection. It's in the gun safe in case of a break-in or whatever, which is a terrible place to keep a firearm if you're trying to protect your family. You don't want to be fumbling around with a combination if someone breaks in. The wife begins yelling into the receiver. The kids are confused. Daddy, what's wrong with Daddy? Mommy, Daddy, what's going on? Daddy, quote, begins to scream as he's fumbling for this safe combination. He's trying to get his gun out. Now he's hallucinating. Now the cops are hearing this, that this man's got a gun. They're almost there, but they ramp it up. They try to get there as quick as possible. This guy is trying to get this gun. So this is from the 911 call. This is what the woman says.
He's taking the gun out, sir. Kristine, 44, told the Denver 911 dispatcher, I don't know where to go. Richard, please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
And finally, it did stop. It was quiet and calm, eerily quiet. That's the calm after the storm. That was caused by the blast of that 9mm bullet that twisted right through her forehead. The forehead of 44-year-old Kristine Kirk, the mother of three. This is her right here. You want to describe her?
So you said she was in her 40s, short blonde hair. I mean, she's smiling in this photo, so kind of makes you feel even worse about the situation.
So that woman shot right in the forehead in front of her three kids. Once that bang goes off, it just total silence. That round comes out and it ends everything.
She next related that he had the gun and she did not know where to go, the warrants say. A few seconds later, Mrs. Kirk could be heard screaming. There was a single gunshot and the line went quiet.
Wow! Single gunshot. This mother, who will no longer, with the help of her three boys, be hanging out that Michigan flag on game days. Those three boys who will wake up and will never smell their mom making those, quote, rock star pancakes in the morning. All of that is gone. They won't spend Saturday mornings jumping on the family trampoline. Her best friend, Erica, who will no longer gossip, eating at Chipotle and drinking Diet Coke. That was her favorite thing to do with her best friend of 24 years. Kristine, which everyone calls her Chris, one shot through the forehead and she's dead instantly. And that was on the 911 call. And then it was the frantic, the screaming, the kids, Mommy, what's Daddy? What's wrong with Daddy? What? They're cowering behind the couch. It's getting to a crescendo of craziness. And then all of a sudden, wow, that one round, that one piece of metal exits that chamber and spirals right through her forehead. That single bullet, weighing 7 grams, which is slightly above a U.S. quarter, not only ripped through her forehead, but ripped her away from her 3 children and ripped those children away from their father forever. The husband and wife were still at the scene when the police got there. The wife was on the floor, gunshot to the head, pronounced dead at 9:58 p.m. The husband's claim, quote, I didn't know it was my wife, end quote. This is what Kristine's sister said.
Tammy Heyman, the sister, said, Chris was an anchor in our family. She was a key person in each of our lives. We could always count on her, regardless of what else she had going on. So it is impossible to imagine life without her. For the boys, the loss is immeasurable. They were extremely close to their mom. She was supportive, protective, and actively involved in every aspect of their lives. She was the biggest fan, whether at school, home, or on the sports field. She was their go-to person for everything. God, this is terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, that's not.
And I'm on to my second beer. Thank you.
I didn't know it was my wife.
Who did he think it was?
I mean, what's it matter? I mean, let's just believe him.
I'm going to say no. No, let's dig a little bit deeper into that one.
Here's the mother and the 3 kids. This was weeks before right here.
God.
So, I mean, look,
That's
you
sad.
got 3 kids right there. And as we'll talk about this one right here, the 7-year-old, I believe, he was the only one that actually saw the mother get killed besides the father. The other 2,
God.
I mean, the other 2 were trying to get out of the house. Eventually, they did get out of the side window of the house.
I mean, the hardest, like when you think about it, when it's all said and done, these kids are now left with no parents, I'm assuming, right? Mom is dead and dad is away for life, maybe. At the very least, they have to live with the fact that their father killed their mother. Oy.
This is the father. What do you think?
It's an interesting choice of photo.
This was his Facebook photo.
He looks like he's having a great time in this photo, partying maybe. You know, he's got like sequin glasses. It looks like he may have like his wife's readers on or something, you know?
Yeah, I think those are readers.
Yeah, but they're like, you know, it looks like they got some jewels on it. They look like they're he took them from someone, and it looks like he's having a blast in that photo.
So let me go back.
Okay.
911 call comes in. It's not that serious. That's why it lasted
But
13.
apparently it was.
That's why it lasted 13 minutes. And it ramps up when the husband goes for the gun. That's in another room. He fumbles trying to remember the combination. And when he gets the 9mm out, the 9mm handgun out. Now, the wife and the kids, they could have bolted out the door. All right, you remember that. Like when the husband is trying to...
But would they have thought, though, that he was going to really use it against them, you know?
There you go. I don't know. You tell me. All right, why don't we see what he says? Like, why don't we kind of
I am curious.
see how his day went? Because this was the evening, this Monday, this evening. So let's see what happened according to him.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, is this normal for him to be hallucinating or what have you? Or is there a mental illness? Or are you tying this into the fact that this is 420 and there is our 420th episode and you're going to go another route with this?
Wait, 420 is like weed. You're saying that he smoked weed and he was hallucinating?
I don't know.
That's a stretch.
Is it?
Richard had back problems. Now, Richard's the husband, and he had back problems. And ever since that accident a year prior, he's been taking Vicodin. And like a lot of people,
That's addictive as shit.
he won't say that he's addicted, but he's still taking it, and so messed up, man.
Remember that show House? That's what he was addicted to.
Yeah, but he was like really smart.
He was still an addict. But yes.
I never even seen it. But
Really? It was
I've
a good show.
I've seen like clips of it.
It was a good one.
Richard, ever since that accident, he has been having back problems. And this is like the literal 100 million other people in America. The doctor gives him a little white pill. I think it's white. I don't know. The doctor gives him a little pill that says Vicodin on the bottle, and they become addicted. However, this day, he ran out of the medicine he needed. And he's got back problems, like bad back problems.
And he's been taking it for how long, did you say?
Over a year.
Okay, so if he doesn't have it, he's going to go through withdrawals.
I mean... Yeah, but it's not like heroin. I mean, I've never been addicted to it.
You still can, you can go in withdrawals without taking your pain medication.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you become addicted to it.
I don't know. I don't know.
That was in House many times. He went through withdrawal.
That's just a fictional show.
Medically accurate, though.
You gotta be effing kidding me, yo.
No.
It's always some strange thing. It's like some strange bacteria.
No, but he was addicted to Vicodin. The doctor was addicted to Vicodin. The Dr. House.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
And he went through withdrawals. I mean, I think he was doing more than one a day.
So you're basing that off of a TV show.
But it's factual. Like, that is factual. Addiction to Vicodin, fact. Like, that is something that happens.
Addicted to cigarettes, fact. Do you go addicted? But do you go through like withdrawals? Yes, but
yes.
It ain't like you have to take methadone.
It depends on how much Yeah, it does.
It is not the same, dude.
It depends on the quantity that they're addicted to. But yes.
Yeah, you don't. Can
someone please help me here?
You don't go through withdrawals like they're taking meth or heroin.
Yes.
There's no way it's the same. No effing way.
You're gonna go sweat and throw up and all that stuff. It depends on the quantity, but yes.
You know what the most addictive drug in the world is?
What?
Sugar. You remember that study they gave rats? This is true. You can look this up. They gave these lab rats both sugar and cocaine. They found that the lab rats would be clawing for the sugar over the cocaine. They would kill each other for the goddamn sugar. Alex Murdoch? What was that?
He was a Vicodin addict. There you go.
I thought he was on meth. Didn't he have a meth dealer?
He was addicted to pills, man.
Oh,
and it is true. Thank you.
Maybe you're right, man. Maybe you're right. Sorry. All right, back to the story. So he's been dealing with these back problems, and on this day, he is out of meds completely. He is out. He took too many last month, and now he is suffering.
Because he's addicted.
He is suffering. So on the way back home, he's worked all day. He is just fidgeting in his car driving. He's like, God, it hurts. And I don't have anything. He's trying to look at his phone and see maybe anyone I can contact to just get, that hit. Vicodin for the day, and he is in Denver. All of a sudden, he passes a what?
A weed sign?
A dispensary. Now, this
A weed sign. That sounded so dumb.
Weed. Can you imagine a store that says we sell weed? We sell weed. And
oh my God.
You freaking hate the way weeds. She's always
I don't like it.
And it smells like skunk. And I'm like, that's what people love, man.
I don't like that.
But all right, people who never drink coffee will drink coffee for the first time and hate it.
Yeah, Shram was saying how much she hated the taste of coffee a couple weeks ago.
But you love it now because you drink it all the time. So if you smoke all the time, like no one who smokes weed hates the smell of it. I can promise you that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm not discounting that part of it.
For you guys that are listening, man, throw your stories into...
And Natasha said she knew someone who would take up to 50 painkillers a day.
50. God, dog. All right, so on live chat, guys, if you're listening to this and you're not driving or anything, tell us about any experiences you have. Maybe with taking edibles, because that's what this guy's going to do. So he passes a dispensary and, he turns around. He turns his car around and he's just like, all right, maybe this will help. He spends over an hour in the dispensary and the CCTV video that shows him browsing in the store.
So he's trying to find something that will suit his needs.
Yes.
Specifically, which is a good thing.
And he's asking a lot of questions. What is THC? How does this affect me? Is this like painkillers? He spends an hour in there and he's just asking question after question after question. It's a customer that would really be annoying because he only buys one thing,
After all the time he spent there.
Yeah.
But at least he was being thorough with making sure like it was going to try to attempt to solve the gap he had with his painkillers.
So he settles on the Karma Candy. Candy is with a K.
Looks delicious.
Karma Candy Orange Ginger looks delicious.
It does. I mean, it's meant to look like candy and be like candy.
This is from Gaia's Garden, 101 milligrams. So this tastes like a orange ginger snap. I mean, it's actually pretty good. I had one earlier, so I'm just kind of waiting for it to kick in.
like I said, it sounds great.
Yeah. Anyway, this is what he takes. This is the only thing he buys. I don't know how much this will be.
I have no idea.
So if you don't know, this is episode 420. So is Shram on here? We're actually doing this because Shram...
No, Shram's not here.
She said, hey, y'all should do a 420 episode. Because I had another episode planned that I was supposed to do today. But I was like, fuck, I don't want to miss 420. Like, I can't.
Even though it's not 420, it's April 4th. However, this is our 420th episode.
420 episode. He ran out of Vicodin that day. He sees the dispensary and he stops. And this was when 2014 recreational marijuana had just become legal in Colorado. So this is a new industry here. Mm-hmm. And he buys this 100 milligrams orange ginger gummy, quote, conveniently sized and incredibly delicious, end quote.
That is the perfect voice for what I pictured there.
Also on the website, which no one fucking reads or goes to, quote, a single bite is enough, even for those with intense medicinal needs.
Oh boy. So he took the whole thing.
Yeah, he ate it.
Well, I mean, it's bite-sized.
All right,
so I can understand how that could be confusing.
Yeah, but all right. You're
like,
telling me...
What's a bite? A nibble?
You're telling me
a
this...
dime size? Like pea size? Like they need to be specific on their portions.
You're telling me that this man kills his wife in front of his 3 children because he ate a freaking candy ginger snap? Dude, that is so bullshit.
So I will say, like, I forget what, there was a documentary I was watching at some point or whatever about, like, I'm not actually, I haven't had drugs, like, it's not legal here in South Carolina, but I am a proponent of, like, having things be legal.
The fact that you called it drugs...
well, okay, whatever. I don't care.
No, it's just like, that's the Southern thing, like, oh, they're smoking pot.
I mean, I didn't do that when I was a kid either, even in a rebellious phase. Like when I lived in Europe, when I went to Amsterdam, didn't do anything. Like it just wasn't, I don't know, maybe that was dumb of me to not take advantage of the situations. But anyway, now I forgot my train of thought because you interrupted me.
I guess we got to move on. All right. Because you're smoking too much. All right, here we go. So if you've had a psychotic experience with edibles, let me know in the chat and we'll read it out. So he takes this edible to kind of...
I really have no idea what I was going to say.
You got to get out the weed, dude. Freaking short-term memory is killing you. So he waits for more than an hour for this thing to come in, for this medicine to kick in. He actually only takes half of it at first, and he's waiting, and his back is still killing him, and he's at home, and he's like, what the fuck? Nothing, this is not working. So he goes ahead and he eats the other half. Now, edibles are different. So
because it takes a while because you got to digest it, right?
Yeah, it's got to go through your gastrointestinal whatever tract. Anyway, so edibles are different. You don't know how much you're supposed to take, even though it says it on the thing. An inexperienced user of THC is not going to know to only take a certain amount. They're not going to know that that it is working. It just takes a long time because it's got to digest, But I will tell you, edibles, from studies, more 911 calls come in and more hospital visits, and this is skewed to the max, from edibles rather than smoking. Like, edibles always put people in the hospital emergency room. The 911 calls are always for edibles. It's not even a comparison to just smoking it, right?
Interesting.
So anyway, so he's home. He's not feeling it. He only took half of it. He takes the other half. And then, only then, he notices it. And that's when it
hits him.
Comes in like a wrecking ball. Like, what's his name? What's her name?
Miley Cyrus. Who is, we've determined that's Luna's theme song.
I'm more of a Billy Ray fan, but the high comes in like a wrecking ball and destroys this guy, literally. From his story. I mean, we don't know that, he didn't just cook this whole thing up, right? He says that he started losing his mind. He jumped out of the window at one point. If you see a police photo of him, he's got scratches all over his shins. He jumped out of his house window. He's outside freaking out. His sons come out there to the front door and they're asking him, Daddy, what's wrong? Daddy, what's wrong? And he is just high out of his mind. And he says that he looks at his house numbers, 2112, and he starts pressuring his children to tell him the house numbers. Like, what is it? 2112. I mean, if you look at this picture right here, is his house placard, 2112. If you're really high, this could be kind of freaky, right? I mean, 2112, it's like back and forth. They look like
swans. The twos look like swans.
Shit, they do.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
There's some crazy shit happening in that.
That beer's getting to you, man. That 100 tank. I didn't notice the swans, but I was thinking like 2-1 and 1-2 is just too much, man. Like, oh, fuck. What's going on, man?
Yeah.
What do you think? Him fixating on his house numbers. Now, this is what he claims. He says that he's outside. He just jumped out the window. He's looking at his house numbers. He's telling his kids, what are the numbers? What are the numbers? What are the numbers? He's going nuts. And the sons start reciting the numbers. And that's when he just loses it.
In a Rocky Mountain PBS interview with Richard Kirk, he said, Dad, it's 2112, 2112. And something like, when he said that number, something in me I just lost myself. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the threat was. I didn't know if I was the threat. I didn't know, he sobbed.
So he says he just, quote, lost myself. He went to the safe. He grabbed the gun.
In the aforementioned interview, I didn't know it was my wife, he cried. I thought it was somebody else, I guess. That's the only way I could have done it. I never, ever once thought about even hurting my wife or pushing her or anything, let alone taking her life, taking her away from my 3 boys.
From court documents, quote, the youngest son saw his mother being killed. He witnessed his father's delirious, paranoid, psychotic, and highly altered state of mind. His father was overcome with psychosis and in a state of being which his son had never seen before. The father was out of his mind. Richard Kirk, after consuming the edible marijuana at issue and firing the gun into Kristine's head, asked his young son to then kill him.
Ooh.
After physically hearing their mother's body drop to the ground, the other 2 boys ran from danger and escaped the house through a side window. Now, so he had asked the son to kill him.
Jesus.
He asked his 7-year-old son, the only one that actually saw the bullet fly through the mom's head. I mean, talk about trauma for the rest of your life. The only one that saw that bullet explode from that barrel into the mother's head. He then tries to hand that same gun to his 7-year-old son. Shoot me, shoot me. He's telling his 7-year-old, quote, so dad and mom can be together with God. That's what he tells his 7-year-old. Fucked up, man. Fucked up shit. So what do you think, man? You think he's using this as an excuse?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that you said earlier that like edibles, like it tends to be put a lot of people in the hospital, or like if there's ever anything that goes wrong, it's from edibles. That kind of makes me think maybe it truly is a side effect.
Well, there was some stuff in the relationship we probably should get through.
Okay. Yeah, that's relevant.
It was a rocky relationship, and he even admits that. There were some financial difficulties. In fact, his wife's stepfather said, quote, "We're not surprised that he shot someone.
Oh.
It is just that we didn't think it would be a family member."
Well, that's not helping him at all.
He says that stepfather says that Richard was, quote, "on the verge of being out of control."
Okay.
Every time he saw him.
So was the edible perhaps magnifying his feelings?
He also had road rage.
Who doesn't?
Oh yeah, dude. I will tell you.
You have road rage
I do
issues.
not have fucking road rage,
Yes, you do,
dude.
If you're in a mood, watch out.
I'm fucking toxic, yo.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I guess he has some road rage issues. So I'm guessing the stepfather was in the car with him, saw that firsthand. Even his own sister, Richard's own sister, said that her brother had a, quote, nasty streak. And she was even threatened by him. She always felt uncomfortable because she didn't know exactly what he was capable of. That's his own sister.
All right, things are now not looking good. Interesting point, Sydney. So they're not surprised that he shot somebody. Why wouldn't they do anything to help ahead of time to avoid it?
You know what? I thought that same fucking thing, honestly. I'm not surprised that it killed someone. Well, then you're a dick, you know? Like, what the fuck? I mean, honestly, like shit. Kristine's colleague said that the relationship was dull, and Christina often talked to her in private about finally telling her husband that, quote, she didn't love him anymore. Now, all right, devil's advocate here. I'm just going to back up for a second. This couple, married 20 years. This man has back problems, addicted to Vicodin, runs out of Vicodin. He's in Denver, Colorado. 2014, recreational marijuana is now legal. Dispensary, he's in there asking questions. He settles on was it Candy Karma or something like that?
Yep.
Spelled with a K. Looks delicious. Orange ginger snap. Takes half of it. Doesn't do shit. Takes the next half. And then it starts kicking in. Which reminds me a lot of Wolf on Wall Street when they're taking those Quaaludes. It's like, it's not working. Maybe they're just old.
Steve Madden.
So
great movie.
He takes this and then he just loses it. Jumps out the window. Eventually goes to the gun. Gets the gun. The 911 call says it all. They don't release the 911 call, obviously, because the woman gets shot, goes silent, and the 7-year-old sees it. All of this stuff. But now all this news is coming out. The background stuff. Well, yeah, of course. I thought he was going to kill someone. You know, I could always see that. There's financial trouble. She doesn't really love him anymore. They actually owed $2,500 to the IRS, and they had $40,000 in credit card debt. That's something.
It's a lot of money.
So where are you at now? I mean, that kind of makes them look pretty bad.
It makes it look like maybe the edible and the Vicodin withdrawal, because I think that is also part of it, like magnified his emotions.
Let me throw one other thing on there.
Okay.
Let me throw one other dagger into him, if you will. Right before the murder or the shooting, he actually buys munitions for his 9mm pistol. That's
well, let's just
talk about
that's the nail in his coffin for me.
Talk about shitty timing.
Or is that not a coincidence?
You tell me, man. You tell me.
Ew.
What do you guys think on there? I gave you kind of what it is right now, right? You have this turbulent relationship. Wife doesn't love hubby anymore. She's trying to get out of it, maybe. She's telling friends that
he has anger issues.
She doesn't love him. He's got anger issues. The whole family, including his sister, feels threatened by him. And now all of a sudden, they're in this debt. They're in this financial burden. And the recreational marijuana is a thing, and this could be an alibi, you know?
Yeah. It's a way out for sure.
Yeah. So what do you guys think on there? Let me know.
Shrim's like, I don't know this case. It's unusual for her.
There was a case I was going to do the other day, and I started researching it, and I was like, fuck, we've done this one. Shit.
after 420 episodes, that's bound to happen.
Yeah. All right. So I throw some daggers at you here. He bought ammo right before the murder.
That doesn't look good.
There's all this financial strain. $40,000 in credit card debt.
Is there a significant life insurance policy?
I mean, there was a life insurance policy, but it's not like he pulled it out the day before. I mean, that would be like obvious, you know. He did move money, I saw, but I don't know. It seemed like the papers were trying to stretch it. Like, okay, you know, I mean, whatever.
Okay.
All right, let me take some of those daggers out. Let me take some of those daggers out of Richard. The detective, Troy Biscard, who, if you guys want to watch the interrogation video, it's quite fascinating. It's only 20 minutes, and he's still high. He's talking about, you know, can he trust the detective? He's getting an interview with just him. He's like, do you believe in God? I believe in God too. Do you think he's here with us now? It's kind of, you start watching it and you're like, well, it's kind of like he's faking it. But then it's like, I don't know, man. Like he's saying some really out there shit. You know, and the detective notices that too. But I'm going to pull one of the daggers out of Richard for you. So that gun malfunctioned after the first round fired. He was trying to empty that whole clip. It malfunctioned. Why do you think that is? Because he didn't load the magazine right.
Because he was too high?
I don't know. I mean, he owns his 9mm. You know how to load a magazine, hopefully, if you own a 9mm. And to get it jammed up like that, I mean, I would guess he hit the magazine in too hard and it double loaded or something, but the next round jammed up the slide.
I don't think that helps at all. I don't think that helps him.
It doesn't. Well, maybe not. But I was saying,
because I'm thinking like, okay,
well, he
took the edible. We know that, right? Like, It's not like he was faking that piece of it. I believe
they did find THC in his system.
Okay, so like we know for a fact he took the edible. He's high as a kite. He's also
we don't know that.
Withdrawal from Vicodin.
We don't know that. I mean, okay, go ahead.
So, but his shot. So you were talking earlier about how when you were in the military and you were overseas and amidst, you know, marijuana fields while in combat, you were also high as a kite at sometimes and a terrible shot when you're normally perfect.
Yeah, but I was actually shooting people from, 200 yards away, 100 yards away, a little bit more.
Right. His
was like right there.
And perfect forehead
And
shot.
it was also nighttime when we get high.
Okay. But still, like, I don't think that helps his situation at all. The fact that it jammed up, if there was THC found in his bloodstream and he's claiming he was hallucinating, he could have jammed it wrong, but I don't think that changes his case at all.
Okay. I'm just throwing that out there.
In my opinion.
Well, let me try to at least take another dagger out of this guy. The 911 call, it is heard on the 911 call. Him, and this is also verified by CCTV in the house, begging his wife, who is not dead yet, but about to be, to kill him, right? Is that something? I don't know. The detective also testified, and this is a fascinating interrogation video, which I don't think the detective should have kept going with it. I think he probably should have gotten in trouble because either he was faking it or he wasn't in his right mind. Either way, I don't think you should be trying to get the guy to confess something when he's all weird, The detective testified that he thought that this man, Richard Kirk, was on drugs. His speech was slurring. He had an inability to focus. He was rambling. He was talking about God. Are you close to God? Who can you trust? Who can you trust? He's very paranoid. Can I trust you? Can I trust anyone? Where am I? At one point during the interrogation, he says, I don't know where I'm at. So right there, I was like, well, that interview probably should have stopped there, He was rambling and he was really quickly to confess to killing his wife. Not only that, this is my biggest dagger here to take out of Richard. In my opinion, maybe you guys disagree with me. What kind of man or what kind of person would kill their wife in front of their 3 small children? Right there in front of them.
If he's hallucinating, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Is he the type of person? And I think, I wonder if the family thinks of this too. Like the sister and Christine's family. He's got road rage. He's got these problems. One coworker said that he heard him yelling at his wife, through the phone. He's got all these problems, but is he capable of killing a mother in front of her 3 children? That to me, brings it to a new level, dude. I think that's worse than the murder itself.
It's bad. And I think if someone's truly not in their right mind or hallucinating or truly fucking evil.
But it could be a cover-up. I mean,
It could be a cover-up.
It could be an alibi. What do you guys think, man? You guys tell me. I don't know. I'm like literally on the fence.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I'm trying to think like there's a balance. One, the family saying, wouldn't surprise me that this guy killed someone. He's got anger issues. Like clearly there are some issues in the relationship. Yet, and he's on Vicodin and he has a drug addiction. He's seeking a different replacement when he's out of that drug and it's interacting with him a different way. I almost am feeling like this is just a magnification of like all of the things. Yeah,
you guys tell me. But I will say, you guys, if you don't know the story, you are the judge, jury, and executioner. We got to do something with this guy. What do we do? Do we put him in prison? Do we let him go free? Like, that's the question here. I mean, whether he was out of his mind or not, you got to decide what to do with him. You going to let him go free? If you lock him up, you're taking him away.
That's what I said earlier.
You're not taking him away. You're taking his children, who are all under 13, away from... But both their parents, one of them's dead on the floor, the other one's in prison. You're taking
at the
both
hands of the
away.
other.
I know, but still, they would be better off with their biological father, I would imagine. I don't know. So you got to decide what you want to do with this guy. That's why I'm trying to give you all the angles here, you know? All right, so let's talk about let's talk about this as drug. It's what we call dope in the South. The devil's
herb.
The devil's grass.
Devil's herb. My herbs are doing pretty well out back, but I do not have any weed growing out there.
Oh, I got some back there.
Oh, good. So far, the consensus is mental hospital. So
the devil's lettuce. Has no one came up with the obvious title to this episode?
No. Tell it to us. Tell it to us now. Weed
killer, right? What the fuck?
I thought you were going to go with because I got high.
No, I am going to go with an exact quote. It was something like, the weed made me do it or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about the company and this little pill. This is from Colorado versus Richard Kirk. This is the damages complaint. This is basically what they have to put out so the stepfather can get the custody of the kids, stuff like that.
Upon information and belief, defendant Richard Kirk experienced strong drug effects, including possible psychotic behavior, including ingestion of the marijuana-infused edible candy, which caused him to shoot and kill his wife.
I'm not trying to push it one way or the other. And if I am, I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to be biased. I want the conversation. I've personally been effed out of my mind. I mean, if I was threatened, I would probably do something drastic, maybe. And he said he did feel threatened, but at the other spectrum, maybe he was trying to get out of it. I don't know. You guys tell me. They were trying to blame this on Gaia's Garden, and not just to put him away or whatever, but it's also to give the kids, some financial relief, right? And I believe that Gaia's Gardens, whatever the fuck it is, it should have worked with the family, which they did not. But they were blamed for, quote, deceptive trade practice. They're basically saying that they didn't offer any instructions on the package, which you saw. There's nothing on there besides the sweet candy.
Yeah, it looked, like I said, it looked delicious.
They believe that this company should be accused of failing to warn customers that edibles could lead to paranoia, psychosis, and hallucinations.
From the Los Angeles Times, the packaging and labeling for the potent candy contained no directions, instructions, or recommendations respecting the product's proper consumption or use, said the lawsuit filed in May in the Denver District Court. The edible producers negligently, recklessly, and purposefully concealed vital dosage and labeling information from their actual and prospective purchasers, including Kirk, in order to make a profit.
Now, I want to say, if you go into your kitchen where you keep your dog treats and look at the package, guess what? There's all kinds of labels on there and that's for a dog. The nutritional, everything else, and directions, all this stuff, it's there, man.
I wouldn't know. We make our own dog food.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so even the dog maker treats include ingredient list and recommended amounts and warnings, if any.
So I have a friend who moved out to California to specifically research and figure out what the dosage is an equivalence of marijuana to alcohol for like drunk driving and stuff like that. Like how do you determine when someone's like too high to drive, or how do you figure out what that dosage is?
What is it? I don't know.
I don't know if they figured it out yet, but it's been a couple of years.
I would just be like, no, I mean, because there's no blower or something. So I'd be like, I'm not high.
That's part of it, is like, how do you determine a test and what's the level and all that stuff?
Yeah, but they can't prove it. I'd be like, I ain't high. So
that is part. He is a scientist trying to help determine what that regulation should be.
Well, he's a dick.
He's friends with Will, so you can talk with Will about that.
All right. So Sam Kamen, who is a professor at University of Denver who specialized in the marijuana law and the policies, considered the 2014 kind of recreational market a, quote, growing pains.
There are so many incidents of people getting drunk and engaging in violent conduct, and we don't hold the alcohol manufacturers responsible. That's fair.
That's fair, but personally, I put in my notes, and like I said, I'm not biased either way, I think that statement's kind of bullshit, because alcohol's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So you don't know if that first time someone got drunk and did something fucking stupid, right? So, I mean, you don't know that. So we've been living with alcohol for our whole lives.
Oh, wow.
And marijuana has been too, but it's been illegal all this time. So this is brand new
territory.
So to compare it to alcohol, I think is kind of a bullshit statement.
Yeah.
Sean McAllister, which is the attorney for Gaia's Garden, likened the case to skiing, getting hurt and then suing the ski industry because the ski run was too hard, which I also think is bullshit, because when you go ski, guess what? You sign a fucking waiver, man.
Well, it says, are you going on a blue circle, a green square, a black diamond, a double black diamond?
But you still
you
still sign a waiver.
Do you? I don't remember signing a waiver.
I mean, if you don't, then that's
I do not recall signing a waiver in skiing, but I do know that I would never and have never gone down a black diamond or double black diamond mountain. Because who wants to strap two pieces of like a fucking, whatever it is to their feet and slide down a mountain? I never understood that. And I'm from fucking New England. Sorry, can't do it. That's why I live in South Carolina.
So I'm going to kind of derail just for a second, not going in these cases, but this man right here, this is from the Denver Post. If you want to read that headline.
Man who plunged from Denver balcony ate 6 times the recommended amount of pot cookie.
So he jumped off a hotel balcony, killed himself because he was too high.
I know we've talked a little bit about this. Does the thought at this point in your life of consuming weed in whatever form, like, worry you of how it will make you feel?
What do you mean?
Like, do you worry about how, if you were to take that now, like you have medications, you have like other kind of mental happenings. Do you worry about how that would make you feel? Like depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder? Do you worry about how the weed would interact with all those things in your medication?
Well, that's why I got married, because you have to worry about that.
Oh, we both have to worry about that.
This is another one. Toxicology report released following Keystone marijuana suicide. Luke Goodman, looks like a good kid here. Luke Goodman of Tulsa, Oklahoma, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound on Tuesday, March 24th. Witnesses reported he had consumed large amounts of edible marijuana candies prior to his death. Shot himself right in the head. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I don't know. Just be careful with these edibles, man. Like, what the fuck?
It's definitely not making me encouraged at all to want to try any of this.
There was, and just one more case sideline, then we're getting back to the case. A New York Times columnist, Maureen Dowd, actually ate a pot-laced candy, and this was her experience.
New York Times Maureen Dowd ate a pot-laced candy bar that looked so innocent, like the Sky bars that I used to love as a kid. Later that night, she was panting and curled up inside a hotel in Denver, convinced that I had died and no one was telling me.
That's nuts, yo. She's fucking high.
Yeah, that is nuts.
All right, so you tell me right now, Guilty, not guilty? We putting him in prison forever? What are we doing?
I feel like that is a hard place to just call him guilty given all of the facts. Law is innocent until proven guilty. I do not think there is sufficient evidence to make him responsible for the crime. Now, if they were to say like he was under the influence and like maybe it's more manslaughter or something like that. But I think for like first degree murder, not guilty.
So Rocky Mountain PBS, which PBS, viewers like you, right? They did an exclusive interview with him in 2018. And he is still adamant that he had no intention, had no idea of what he did. And he says, quote, I know without any doubt that if I did not eat that marijuana, my wife and family would still be together today. I know that with a certainty. And when the reporter asks, why did you kill your wife? He says, quote, because I didn't know it was my wife. That's what he says. So can you read that last one there?
I miss contact. I miss the loving contact of my family, the embraces of my wife, the scent of clean pillows. He sobbed, explaining that he hadn't had direct contact with his children since the night he was arrested. I miss everything about my boys. There is no one particular thing. I love them with all my heart. For the longest time, I've had this picture in my mind of being released and walking out into the grass of a jailhouse and my 3 boys coming, running towards me, wrapping their arms around me and saying they love me.
In 2017, he pleaded guilty. I think he had a really shitty attorney, if you ask me. But in 2017, he did plead guilty to second-degree murder. He is now serving a 30-year prison sentence. Quote, I didn't know it was my wife. He sobbed when asked why he pulled the trigger. I thought it was somebody else, I guess. That's the only way I could have done it. I never, ever once thought about even hurting my wife or pushing her or anything, let alone taking her life, taking her away from her 3 boys. I know that Chris knows that I didn't do this on purpose. I know she knows that. So what do you guys think? Crazy.
I don't know. I feel like the sentence may be a little harsh.
Yeah, I do too. So I think he will get out in like 15 years. It is sad. In my opinion, I think it's really sad that he can't see his children, it's the court system or whatever, until they're 18. But I will say that the children, and when I say the children, I meant like the caretakers. They're the ones that filed the complaints against the company. And it honestly seems like they're looking at this more than a tragedy. Looking at the family now, I haven't seen anyone say that, he should be out or whatever. I think they're just still in shock. I don't think that they think he did it on purpose. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So I was really shocked when I found out that he is in prison. But then again, maybe, we don't know, man. I don't know. We did the Calgary story where that kid stabbed 5 of his friends to death, got off scot-free.
We've seen stranger things happen for sure.
Yeah. But what do you think? That's the weed story.
It's not helped like at all in my desire to try an edible. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. From what I've seen, man, like most of the emergencies are coming in from edibles. Like I'm not really for or against it or whatever, but I know just be careful out there.
Flight to Fantasy asks, how do you guys compare this to the cough syrup murder?
Oh, I can't remember that guy's name.
Ooh.
I kind of think, if I remember correctly, he was found guilty, but I think, so he's talking about this guy that killed his girlfriend or wife. I can't even remember. That was so long ago when we did that story.
God, yeah.
But he was trying to blame this was it DM or something? Like Robitussin DM?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's some weird chemical. Yeah. So if you take it and force yourself to stay awake,
it'll make you...
it'll make you all crazy.
Yeah.
That's a really good question, Flights of Fantasy. If I remember correctly, it was like obvious that he was trying to do that.
Can't remember that story at this point.
That is, oh my God, how long ago was that? That was like 5 years ago. I don't even remember
So
I usually remember every killer and victim's name, or not all the victims, but
I do remember talking about the DM though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. Dude.
I think it's just like you just gotta be careful, and I don't know.
Crazy.
He took it in a desperation, right? In absence of his Vicodin. And so I think your frame of mind has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Dude, and I've been like that too. Like where I was that effed up. Once I'm telling you about, but that was more of like, okay, I just got to like block it out. But that one time me and my buddy smoked spice. That was
Never
something.
again.
Fuck no, never again. Now I just do bath salts now. So. All right, that's it for today. I hope you guys like this. So we're going to do Tuesdays for the Supremos, and it'll be a well-researched story like this, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Boom, 420, celebrating, going to get stoned. All right, until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.